Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode, we go over all the new Transformers reveals from Hasbro's latest live stream. Another bunch of Transformers mashups are getting re-released, and you won't believe what Hasbro's got in the pipeline for new figures coming in 2023. Today is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022, and this is episode 492 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that really didn't think The Handmaid's Tale was a good blueprint for public policy. I'm your host, Charles, a.k.a. Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, a.k.a. Yakko.
Hello there.
Scott, the illustrious Dr. Pants.
Hey, everyone.
And Darryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hello, everyone. Let's talk Transformers.
As always, we start the show off by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and keep the show going. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a Donatreon, if you're not already, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. You get lots of cool perks. You get entered into all our contests. You get bonus episodes, including the early bonus uncut versions of our Transformers RPG podcast, Empire of Rust. And this week we have the special uncut version, Empire of Rust episode 79, the banter episode. And this is exclusive to Donatreons because it's coming out a week early. This just came out. It should already be available on our Patreon page. Came out on Monday, June 27th. So as you're hearing this, you should have access to it. And you're getting this episode early before it goes up on the main Empire of Rust free feed next week, next Monday, July 4th. So everyone take a listen to that. We've also got the final part of our Transmissions Empire of Rust crossover. So this is part 6, and it's available in the free feed. So this was previously a Donatreon exclusive. We put this out last fall, but now all the parts are available for all our regular Empire of Rust listeners. So listen to part 6. It should already be available at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And you'll see the epic conclusion of the adventures of Scrap Heap, Shatter, Monty, and Caliber. So listen to that. Also, we've got coming up the Toy Hacks, our monthly Toy Hacks drawing. That'll be coming next week. We'll do the June drawing, in July, but it's okay. We'll do the June Toy Hacks drawing for our $10 gift code. We do that every month. If you'd like to be entered in the contest, you can either become a Donatreon. So if you're already a Donatreon, you're already entered. But if you just want to enter the contest, you can send an email to contest@transmissionspodcast.com with a picture of the toy you'd like to get some labels for. And that's how you can enter without no purchase necessary. So take a look. Take a look. Also, we had the special episode that Darryl did, Why We Collect, with his interview guest, Izzy Franzese. That was a really cool episode. Hope everyone got a chance to listen. And we'll have another one coming very soon, right after the 4th of July holiday. So next week, the week of 4th of July, we'll have another special episode coming. And we'll tell you about that very soon. Do you want to tease anything, Darryl, about that?
Well, we can... I think we'll say that the person I talked to is also highly educated and also a doctor. So yeah, let's go with that.
I don't know. Is it very special that you interviewed me for the next episode? That's kind of weird. It's not me.
they're very, very smart. You're just smart.
Wow.
All right. Well, we know how Darryl really feels about me, so I guess that means we can jump right into the show.
Well, I mean, we like Jeremy, and it's just hi.
Who doesn't?
It's just hi, Dr. Pants. That's the way I introduce you guys. It's like, hi, Dr. Pants. There's Jeremy. This is my smart friend Charles. So that's how I introduce you guys to, so that's, you should be honored. But the guy I interviewed next week, he's really, really smart. So
he uses his doctor stuff in his work.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I don't use anything I went to school for at work. Okay, didn't realize that.
We don't know anything about what you do, so I mean, you could have been BSing us the whole time. I mean, I haven't seen any proof at all of your doctorate.
All the times I've seen you, you have not worn a white coat.
I know. Well, I don't have one of those shiny little, mirror things on your head. Nothing ever. Never got a stethoscope. I got nothing. So you know what? It's your word against my idea of you. So
when was the last time you saw a doctor with one of those reflective things on their forehead? This isn't the 50s.
This is Canada. We still use those mirror things, pretty well.
Socialized healthcare is different.
But next week's show is pretty good too. I'm pretty happy with it, and it's it's not as deep of a brain dive as the Why We Collect with Izzy. That was a pretty special one for me. This one's a really good conversation with a really good friend of the show.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking to a doctor, but it's not as deep of a brain dive.
Exactly.
Maybe he's not using his doctorate for anything either.
I think he is. We'll see. You'll see. You guys got to be the judge. You'll listen to the episode and you'll get back to me.
All right. Well, with that, let's jump right into some toy news.
All right. And first up this week, Hasbro was busy this week with a Transformers fan stream. They did it on Thursday, and they had Ben from marketing, Isabella from the franchise team, and it was Mark from design. So it was.
Forget Mark.
Can't forget Mark. He was there in all of his glory. He was marking it up. He was having a good time. So they showed off a bunch of new stuff. A lot of stuff we'd seen before and have talked about on the show, so I'll kind of fly through that a bit. But a lot of it's been seen on social media and talked about quite a bit, but we're going to go through it here really quickly. So Isabella talked about the Transformers virtual reality game that's coming out, and it's going to be at Dave & Buster's. I don't have a Dave & Buster's here, but I assume it's some kind of chain of arcade games. Somebody want to take
Chuck
that?
E. Cheese for adults.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Without the ball pit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they have one in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I have one like 5 minutes from me.
Oh.
Yeah, so they have basically it's a virtual reality ride station thing where it has space for I think 4 or 5 seats where you all sit in a little just a little booth that has some motion capability, so it can rock you back and forth a little bit, and everyone puts on a headset and has a little wand like that's a controller.
Okay.
And they can basically play different scenarios. Like if you go to a typical Dave & Buster's, will have maybe 4 or 5 options to choose from. There'll be like a Star Trek, a Jurassic Park, a Terminator. And so I think this Transformers one, they're just adding a Transformers scenario to this, and it's the same thing where you're like, there was also a Men in Black, I think. So it's basically it's like a Disney World ride where you're not physically moving. You're just staying in one little booth, and it rocks you back and forth and flies you through a scenario.
Okay. Well, I hope that the game comes to Canada in some way, shape, or form. I know that those types of facilities and those kind of places are here. There's a couple places like that in my city as well. So I'll check it out if it shows up in one of the places here. Isabella had mentioned that the game is virtual reality, like I'd said. They do bring back some iconic voices. So you got Peter Cullen, Frank Welker voicing Optimus and Megatron, and they're bringing back Greg Berger for Grimlock. The next thing that they talked about are these duck figures coming from Numskull, and we have seen them before. That's this, and you're getting Optimus and Megatron in rubber ducky form, and they're kind of ridiculous. They're kind of cute. And I don't have any kind of information on pricing or anything like that, but they're they're rubber duckies, and they look like Optimus and Megatron. And really, the Megatron I think looks the best because you can actually see a duck bill on his face, but it kind of looks kind of funny. They went into the Lego Optimus, and that is old news by now because it's out. I mean, Jeremy's got one, and if Jeremy's got one, then it's old.
Thanks.
Hey, I hit Charles, I hit you. Watch out, Dr. Pants.
What?
So,
What did I do?
No, you're next. So,
okay.
So then, so they talked about that, and we've talked about that, and I expect Jeremy to show off his progression on that in trips to the store. So, you told us you were doing that next week or last week. The next thing is they got into the toys, and the toys is where they really were going to spend they spent the majority of their time. They showed us they had the studio the IDW Blur, so that we talked about before, and they did come at it with the new head, and they talked about that, talked about the packaging. Then they went into a repaint of the Legacy Skids, and this one I forget the name. I'm trying to look at the name
Burnout.
and the picture. Burnout. Okay, great. It is colored black. It is an homage to a Diaclone color scheme. It's coming with Crosscut's head. So you got an option there. Then they go into a G2 Deluxe G2 Road Rocket, and this one is a redeco of the RC, the motorcycle RC mold, and that one is sporting obviously the G2 logo. And the next one on their list, we hadn't actually seen that one before, so that one was kind of interesting to see. And Mark is really big on the box art. You can tell by the video. I watched the entire live stream, and Mark's pretty proud of the box art. Not enough to mention who did it. I was really hoping he would mention the artist.
A couple times he mentioned like a couple first names of people on the team.
Oh, right. Yes. I think they were the ones responsible for, putting the boxes, putting the boxes together, but I don't think I don't think they're the artists. That's how I took it. So I would love to know if those people are the artists. Cause, call out the artists, mention them. They're a big part of your brand. The next one on the list was Deluxe Diaclone Universe Clampdown, and this one is a repaint of the I think it's the Lamborghini mold, but it's
Red Alert. It's a repaint of Earthrise Red Alert. Red Alert,
but with the light bar from what did they do? They mentioned it there. They didn't really write it down, but they did mention maybe he's got the light bar is new for this. So yeah. So it's the Red Alert, the Earthrise Red Alert. So that looks really good. So if you're looking for another white figure, hopefully they've got the colors thing situated, but it looks really, really good. And then that was really cool. The first real new figure was next, and that was something that I was really pretty happy to see. And it was a Deluxe G1 Cosmos. And this is continuing on with their, remaking the mini-cons into deluxe figures. They previously have done Warpath and Huffer and Pipes and Bumblebee, obviously, Cliffjumper, right? So now they're on to Cosmos. And he's awesome. He's big and bulky, and the UFO mode is awesome. And yeah, this guy looks amazing. And he comes with a checkered flag because all of these guys are from the speed planet Velocitron, and they're in the packaging for the Speedia 500 collection. So it's very, very neat. The box packaging has changed. It's much more like kind of, I don't know, the shape is definitely kind of old G1 kind of, boxes where they're kind of small, and everything's now packaged in its alt mode, which I think lends a little bit more safety to the not getting its head ripped off in the open packaging. I think that's probably a good idea. The next figure that they showed off was Voyager Road Hauler, and this one gets a new head sculpt. The face is screaming. Interesting choice, but yeah, sure, whatever. It looks good. It's a great color, the light green. Very much looks like a Constructicon, but that's a Road Hauler for you.
They actually said that their fiction is that he was a Constructicon that went to the Autobot.
Oh, right on. Cool. I must have missed that. The next one was Voyager Override, and I was kind of surprised when they showed this one off that it's actually a Voyager scaled figure, and it's a completely new mold, and you can tell this one looks wild. They got the translucent red like with the old figure. I think it was Cyber. No, would have been, when was this? Dr. Pants, when was the original Override put out? What series?
Oh, it was Transformers Cybertron.
It was Cybertron. Okay, cool. I was right. I just yeah, right on. So it almost looks identical to that figure, only they've got modern engineering in it now. So yeah, this one looks really cool. So yeah, this one's a neat one, and it definitely fits in that Velocitron Speedia 500 vibe. And then the big one for this release, and it's something we'd seen before. This was Robots in Disguise Scourge, and you can call him Scourge, you can call him Nemesis Prime. They're calling him Scourge, and it is a repaint of the Laser Prime mold, which they'd said G2 logos that are upside down on the shoulders. Yeah, it's very cool. It looks great, and we've talked about it a little bit already. Yeah, right on. So they went through all of those. They then went into some of the stuff that's getting one of the things that's getting a re-release, and that's Top Gun Maverick. And they're re-releasing it with some new packaging because the movie got pushed back a year, and the previous one has the movie date on it. And I haven't checked mine yet because I never noticed that, but I guess it does. So they wanted to get the proper movie date on there. So I guess all the previous ones are variants now. I don't know. Are they worth more because they have the wrong year on it? I don't know.
They're just the original release.
Yeah. So this one here, it doesn't show whether the volleyball is included anymore, but it has a motorcycle, and I don't know whether the first one has a motorcycle, but I don't remember.
I think they said in the stream that it doesn't include the volleyball. Like, that's the difference between this release and the last one, is that this one has a motorcycle and the previous one has a volleyball.
Gotcha. All right. So that'd be cool. So if you didn't get it the first time, then you can get this. The figure itself, I do not believe is different in any way, shape, or form. But the packaging is different, and it looks like the accessory is different. The next thing... Go ahead.
Slight correction. DJ Ronan is saying the first one did have both the motorcycle and the volleyball. So this one just does not have a volleyball.
Gotcha.
So
All
it's
right.
objectively worse.
Well, it's got the proper date on it now. But
for the packaging, most people will throw away.
Right. The next thing is that they announced the next few figures for the Walmart exclusive RED line. And so that will be part of the Walmart Collector Con event that's happening in July. And we all know how much we love the Walmart Collector Con event because it's definitely easy to be a part of that if you're, not a scalper. If you can't tell, I'm being super sarcastic here. They suck. Those Walmart Collector Con events kind of suck. So anyway, the RED line is continuing on with a G1 Thundercracker, which is a new version of that Seeker mold, which we got previous wave as Starscream. Starscream was obviously the Coronation one, so this one here is not wearing any Coronation gear, and is coming with some blast effects as well. They have changed the boxes for the RED line; they are now closed boxes, so it's a change as well. They're continuing on line wide with their plastic-free initiative, and so you're not going to get any package whatsoever, any plastic whatsoever in these boxes. The next figure is a Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime, and it looks pretty good. It's got chest windows that open up to reveal a matrix that can be removed, and it looks pretty good. It looks awesome, like Transformers Prime should. And then the next one is Transformers Prime Megatron. And he looks pretty awesome as well. Very badass, and he's got some blast effects that can attach to his arm blaster. And next up, they announced a figure that is available on Prime. Well, it was available on Prime that Thursday, and Jeremy, maybe you can check and see if it's still available, because a lot of that stuff goes and becomes sold out that day. But if it's still available,
You mean
fantastic.
Pulse?
Oh, Pulse, yes.
Yeah, Hasbro Pulse. This one is still available.
Oh, wow. Cool. So it is Shattered Glass Slicer. So they have taken the Wheeljack mold and they have shattered glassed it. So you've got Slicer now, and Slicer is coming in a 2-pack with, how do you pronounce this one? I forget. It's the fast track mold. And he was Rorichi.
Rorichi?
Yeah,
Rorichi?
So it's the shattered glass version of Rorichi. It's meant to homage the exosuit that Slicer got in, or maybe it wasn't Slicer, but it was an exosuit that was in the Action Master line.
No, it was Slicer.
It was Slicer. Okay, cool. Okay. But it was a European or Australasia exclusive. I'm just kind of pulling this out of the air right now, but I think that's where it was exclusive. So anyway, if you can rebuild this fast track or Rorichi figure into somewhat of an exosuit that can make that look really, really cool. But that became available on Hasbro Pulse on Thursday, and as Jeremy just said, it's available still, and it is a 2-pack, which is kind of cool. It looks really good, and then Mark was showing it off there in box, and then in person. He had apparently had the only copy of it in the entire building. So yeah. Looked really cool. Then they showed off a picture of the cover of the comic that will be about this figure, and it is done obviously by Casey Collar again. So right on. And so I'm going to stop here and throw it over to you guys and see what you guys got a thought. Jeremy, did you watch the stream at all?
I did.
What do you think?
I think most everything looks good. All of the Generations figures are also going to be at the Walmart Collector's Con. Basically everything today except for Slicer is for the Collector Con, and that really does upset me.
Wow.
Because if I can't get one of those Scourges, I'm going to be very upset. But outside of that, I like a lot of these figures. The Cosmos was like a little bulky to me, like, because in my mind I picture him as what we got in, what was it, Combiner Wars, or but if you're a fan of the original G1 toy, which I never had, I can see where this one has its appeal. I really wish that who was it, the Clampdown, like, seeing that alt mode, I was like, oh, are they going to do a RID 2001 Prowl? Because the alt mode is just a Lamborghini with the Japanese police paint job that Clampdown has, but the alt mode or the robot mode would just be completely different. So it would be completely wrong, but it got my hopes up for a second. But it does look good. I mean, we've seen so many versions of this. I think he's from the Sunstreaker mold, not the Sideswipe mold.
No, he's from the Sideswipe mold.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they had said Sunstreaker. But regardless, it's a great mold. They can release 1 million of these and they'll still sell. The red figures don't really interest me all that much. But I'm just mainly in it for the Scourge, and I already have the Top Gun figure. So yeah, I thought it was a good thing though. I mean, everything looks good. If you're into the Shattered Glass stuff, that Slicer looks really good. So it was a successful show. And then also, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it to the Dave & Buster's here anytime soon, but I'm going to try and see. I'm not sure how well I trust VR in a public environment, but I'll bring some Clorox wipes with me and wipe everything out.
Well, right on. That'll be cool. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the VR, in person, because I don't think VR translates, over any kind of picture or video format. You can't really kind of record it. But yeah, I think everyone should at least try and experience it. I don't think this is the same game we saw previewed a while back, because that one looked like you were just
different to me.
Yeah, it looked like you were just a participant in, like, just watching the battle as a human in that game that we saw like a few months back. Because I remember Charles being pretty pissed about that, and that kind of stood out for me. This one, you're part of it. You're manning one of these, characters, and you're an active participant in the war. The old other one,
the models look really good.
Yeah. So yeah, there might be multiple VR games coming, which is kind of wild. Dr. Pants, did you watch the stream?
No. I had, well, kinda. I had it on, but I wasn't paying attention. Sadly, it was the same day that Sonic Origins came out. I was preoccupied.
Oh, gotta collect those rings.
I did. I spent a good time and had a blast. But I did check everything out afterwards. I kind of just went through the pictures afterwards and was like, oh, this is cool. I love the Velocitron set. I think this is really cool. I like the theme they're doing, rather than what Walmart did before, where it was just, their own, like, Netflix version. Now they're kind of doing a themed set, and I kind of like what they did here. All of these figures look really cool. Even the repaints and everything, I really like them. I did not get Legacy Skids because I prefer Crosscut or other versions of him. I might get Burnout because I think the black design there looks really good. I definitely want Road Rocket. I think the RC mold for Legacy didn't look that good, but all these paint apps and the new head, I think Road Rocket looks awesome. Mm-hmm. It looks very Windbladey with the paint design and the...
That was my initial thought when they just showed the picture. I was like, is that a Windblade?
Yeah, even with the wheels on the back, they almost look like the turbines on her wings.
Yeah,
it looks very Windbladey. But also, give me more G2 stuff, because I love G2. As far as the rest, Clampdown, great. Another Sideswipe mold. They are the seekers of the Autobots. They're just going to keep repainting it until the end of time now. I mean, it's a good mold. It's a really good mold. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, I would have liked an RID Prowl instead of this. But, whatever. Cosmos looks awesome. I love it. I love all the deluxe mini-bots they've put out. They have done some really cool transformation things with them. I want to say from Kingdom, Warpath was one of my favorite figures from Kingdom. It was so interesting how they did a lot of it. I'm pumped for this figure. That looks great. Hauler, that mold's cool, but I don't need it. I have Inferno, I have Artfire, I have Grapple. I don't need a fourth one, especially a character who didn't really show up in any real media. Mm-hmm. Override I will get. I have to get Override. I love the Cybertron Override figure. It is a garbage figure, but I love it. It's stupid auto-transforming gimmick, and it's so broad-chested. The proportions are awful, but I love that character. I love that car mode, and this looks so faithful, and it actually transforms. It's going to legitimately transform, so I can't wait for that. Mm-hmm. And I'm with Jeremy. If I do not get a Scourge, I'm going to be real upset. I'm going to be waiting there, like, ready to pre-order this thing, because I didn't get Laser Prime. I don't want Laser Prime. I want Scourge. More RAD 2001.
Yeah, one thing about Scourge I forgot to bring up. I can't remember if it was Ben or Mark. On their Instagram, they were talking about, all the pink on Scourge, and it turned out because of the way the toy was designed for Laser Prime, the entire midsection is clear plastic that's painted.
Oh, wow.
So since they for whatever reason they had to go with the pink windows, that whole section is pink. So basically everything that was clear plastic on there had to be pink. And I think it still looks good. It's not a 1-to-1 representation, but it still looks really good.
Right, and we can say that, like, Legacy hasn't been a 1-to-1 representation. It's more like you can look at this figure and be like, oh, it is that character, even if it's not perfect. But, I mean, I'm with you. I think it looks good. I actually kind of like all the pink in it. I think it breaks it up and looks cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm down for that. And while I'm not going to get Slicer in the exosuit, I will say I appreciate all of the Action Master love we've been getting, even though it's only been like 2, maybe 3 figures. But the fact that they're going back and doing some Action Masters as legitimate transforming figures, I think that's really cool. Because we've gotten this one, We had Jackpot in the Golden Disc collection, and I think there was another one, but I might be blanking. But, like, it's kind of cool that they're doing this, and I want to see more of those original Action Master figures get more love. But yeah, and I don't care about the RAD line. I only wanted Soundwave. I got him, so I don't care anymore.
All right. Well, Charles, the question that I have here is, and you may not be able to answer this, but I don't think the UK has Walmart. So what's the UK going to do with a Walmart exclusive line?
You are correct in that I cannot answer that question. But I mean, I imagine for different geographic locations, they will probably have different distributors to get these toys to other places. At least I hope they do that. I mean, I think Walmart will probably get exclusivity to a certain region, probably North America. But I mean, I think that's probably as far as it goes. But yeah, I mean, that's really disappointing. I mean, I think this makes me think about your chat with Izzy on why people collect and why people do things for to have a certain aesthetic or to be completionists and different reasons. And I think this Hasbro and Walmart and pretty much all the corporations these days are taking advantage of human psychology and creating these conditions of artificial scarcity to make people anxious about being able to complete their collection. And it kind of sucks because and I mean, for me, it makes me think it reminds me of the old movie War Games, where at the end of the movie the computer realizes the only way to win is not to play. So I'm feeling like I'm wanting to just disengage from the toy hunt and toy collection in general these days, and just if I happen to see something on the shelves, I might pick it up on a whim, but I'm not actively seeking things out anymore just because it's too frustrating. but
that's where I've been for years.
Yeah. Having said all that, I do think a lot of these figures are really well done. Particularly the Cosmos and the Override, I think are the new molds are really nice there. The Blur, we talked about the Blur, I guess last week or the week before. The Road Rocket, the RC remold looks really good too. And it's nice to have, they're just adding more female characters. That's nice. The Slicer, I guess, is cool. Like Dr. Pan said, for folks who are into the Action Masters. Although I don't understand, like in Shattered Glass, I thought the Decepticons were the good guys. So if this is Slicer and not Wheeljack, shouldn't he be a good guy because he's a good Decepticon, or is he a Decepticon that switched sides and is now a mercenary for the Autobots, or what? Like, what's going on there? I'm not tracking the whole, Shattered Glass opposite day. What's going on with Slicer here?
It's a bullcrap way to make a Decepticon when they should be doing other Shattered Glass Decepticons because there haven't been enough.
Yeah. Or even it's evil Wheeljack. Why isn't it Wheeljack who's turned evil, or evil Wheeljack? I don't know. But I guess if you're trying to homage an Action Master and satisfy some Action Master fans, you got to do that, but then just put it in the Legacy line. Don't make it a Shattered Glass figure. But I don't know. That's really nitpicky, so just ignore me. Yeah. So I mean, I think these figures are all. I think for folks who, I mean, you guys have talked about the different things that you're looking forward to, but everything is kind of dampered or hampered by the fact that you got to go through Walmart to get any of these figures. So that's kind of a bummer, but I guess that's that'll, for people who want the figures, they'll go through Walmart and Walmart will be happy and get everything will sell out, and some people will be frustrated and not get what they want. But, from Walmart and Hasbro's perspective, they'll sell out their stock. And I guess that's great. The other thing that confuses me about this whole, like, they called out Speedia 500, how it's the Velocitron race, it's all this stuff. We just had a 4-issue comic series basically promoting this that came out last fall, so I'm wondering why they didn't sync the timing up a little better. Like, why didn't they do the Wreckers Treading Circuits thing like this spring or just like start it a couple months ago, so it would line up with them releasing all these figures and do some cross promotion. It seems weird.
Well, why didn't they just mention it during this?
Yeah, it just seems weird. And a lot of these characters didn't really figure prominently in the comic. I mean, the comic was focused on the Wreckers and like characters like Knockout, who is associated with Velocitron. He's not in this line because he's just in the regular Legacy line. So it's really a bit odd how the promotions and themes don't really line up with the media. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show when we have another figure we got to discuss. But yeah, that's just weird.
Well, all right then. That's all I've got. I'm going to pass it off to Jeremy. So, Jeremy, what did you find?
Well, Walmart's not the only one doing a collector's con type thing. Target has updated their collector's spot with some Transformers collaborative stuff. First off, and I think we didn't really have any hints of any of these except for a rumored Project Yellow thing, and that has turned out to be a Tonka mashup, which is the Tonkanator. And this is G1 Devastator being re-released in the yellow color scheme, and the characters are all Autobots. And I think this thing is just fantastic, except for the price. But what are you going to do? It's a G1 figure. But lots of people I've seen online are upset because it's a yellow Devastator, and they just wanted a yellow Devastator. They didn't care about the Tonka stuff. But whatever. It's all stickers. You can do what you want with it. You can get a toy hack set, have fun. But this is great. They have written character design, like character names for each one, and it's not in the story here, but essentially here we go. You have Autobot Megadozer, who's the bulldozer, power digger, skyhook, mega hauler, motor mix, and motor load, and then they combine to form Tonkanator. And it's just so wacky. I love it. And it'll be $108. You can pre-order it now. All of these you can pre-order now. It's $104.99. So, like I said, it's a G1 figure. So, what are you going to do? It's going to be expensive, but I think it looks fantastic. The next two items here are Street Fighter 2 collaboration. We have first one, Optimus Prime Ryu with versus Megatron M. Bison. And this is, I believe the Optimus Prime Ryu is the Titans Return Octane, and the Megatron, is he the recent
it's
Blitzwing?
No, it's Titans Return.
Oh, there's still Titans Return Blitzwing?
All of these figures for Street Fighter are Titans Return except for the Chun-Li you're going to talk about.
Okay. Oh, right, because they come with a little Titan Master as the character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. I wasn't expecting this at all. If you're a fan of Street Fighter 2 or like any of the Street Fighter games, I think this is a definite pickup. I was surprised at how well these things look like the characters. Like, they did a really good job making these, they're clearly the Transformers, but the paint jobs and everything do a good job of resembling the character, especially with the heads that they've put on here. The next one is Hot Rod Ken versus RC Chun-Li. And this is like you said, the Titans Return Hot Rod, but the Chun-Li is the more recent RC mold, which actually I think
that's Thrilling 30s RC.
Oh, Thrilling 30s, because it's the one based off of Blur originally. The one that's really rounded and stuff. I think the Ken, I don't know, that one's probably the weakest one in my opinion in terms of the paint job and stuff. But the Chun-Li looks fantastic when they have her like in some different, like some Chun-Li poses. And I really think that looks really good. And it's just out of left field. Some of these things that they're doing with the collaborations, you're like, okay, I wasn't expecting this, but they did a good job. And I'm sure this will pull in a bunch of people from the Street Fighter side of things. The Tonka one, Tonka's a Hasbro brand, so it's not like they had to do much to get approval. And I'm just happy for any reason that they re-release a G1 figure like Devastator, I think it's great. Dr. Pants, what are your thoughts on these three?
Tonkanator's cool, I guess. It seems kind of like a cop-out collaboration, because it's just like, they're construction vehicles. Of course you can just paint them yellow and call them Tonka. I mean, I personally would have liked to have seen a G2 Devastator on one of those people, but it is kind of cool. They rebranded them as Autobots, and they gave them all new names. My favorite thing about it is I immediately looked at them like, one of them's called Skyhook. Wasn't that the base in the Centurions cartoon? And that was the only thing that really made me think. The Street Fighter ones, those are actually reissues. These came out, I think, when Titan's Return was coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. Oh, yeah, DJ.
I completely blanked on it.
Well, I don't think they were that popular, and this wasn't when they were doing, like, the big collaboration stuff yet. But, I mean, they do look cool. I like that in the shots here, they show a lot of them doing poses, but I will say, I feel like they copped out with the Ryu and the M. Bison doing poses, because Ryu's is just jumping with his arm in the air, like he's not doing any other poses. And M. Bison, they pose him just kind of with his arms folded, and that's it. No other cool action poses. But they look cool. I think the painting's great. And honestly, the Titans Return line was a really, really fun line. So I'm happy to see all of these figures kind of get a new life again as reissues here. And I know they couldn't have really done anyone else, but I feel like choosing the Thrilling 30s RC to be Chun-Li is a cop-out.
Yeah.
But, as you said, she can do some amazing poses. They've got her doing, like, a lot of her, like, famous moves and everything. It's pretty cool. I won't pick any of them up. I'm actually not a Street Fighter fan. I'm terrible at the game, so I'm good. Plus, I think I have all these figures in other forms. And Tonkanator, I would have liked a more modern version, not the G1, but that's me.
Well, maybe one day we'll get the, like, a Thrilling 30 version, like the giant Devastator.
Oh, if they do a Combiner Wars version of the Tonkanator, I might be down for that. I loved Tonka trucks as a kid.
Well, Darryl, how about you? What do you think of these?
Well, I remember when the Street Fighter stuff came out. We did talk about it. I don't remember the episode number, but it was a while ago. And I remember being kind of lukewarm on them, I guess, but they're okay. I don't know if there's a market for these again, but whatever. I guess there's somebody wanted to reissue them, and why not? More collaborative stuff.
Maybe these have all just been sitting in a warehouse.
I think that's a strong possibility, because I don't remember them doing, overly well. But I like Tonkanator. I think that looks cool. So I have the yellow G2 Devastator, but and I have an original G1 green Devastator. I like this one though too. I think if they were gonna make the this Tonkanator an Autobot, then perhaps they could have gone with the original Diaclone colors, because he was a good guy in Diaclone. But I see why they went with everything yellow, because that's Tonka colors. Everything's yellow in Tonka. But I like it. It's cool. This is, everything in here is it all kind of lines up. Why would Tonka want to be associated with a bad guy, right? So, I think it's cool. I like it a lot. I probably won't get it because, like I said, I've already got a G2 yellow Devastator. But if anyone out there is looking for this, or these are great toys, and regardless of whether you want to play with them as G1s or keep them as a collector's thing, they're great to play with in a sandbox too. I played with mine in a sandbox, and they're, they work. They push around dirt. Maybe not, maybe not for $100, maybe don't want these in the dirt, but, they're cool, they're fun, and they look great.
Do you think for a G1 issue, $105 is a decent price?
I'm trying to remember what the other one was, the G2 reissue of Devastator was, and I think it was like $80. So,
well, they just did the G1 reissue at Walmart for the regular Devastator, and wasn't that like 90 or 100?
Well, it was 100. I think it was 100 here. It might have been 80 there. So I don't remember exactly, but so you're paying for a little bit of the name, even though Hasbro owns the name Tonka. I don't know,
You're paying for the extra
inflation, I guess. I don't,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, so it's nostalgia factor. There's a good chance that we'll see this, on clearance somewhere eventually. Where is it being sold? Does it say?
This is Target.
Target. Okay, well there you go. Cool. All right. But yeah, it's neat. I don't have a Target here either, so.
All right. Charles, what are your opinions on these guys?
It's a meh for me, dog. It's like I had forgotten that the Street Fighter stuff was all reissues, but yeah, it's like I guess they were all 30th anniversary. Now it's 5 years later, so now they're the 35th anniversary for Street Fighter. But yeah, still, I agree that the Chun-Li is the best looking out of those 4 figures. So, but yeah, I'm pretty much. I'm not interested in any of these. And the Tonka Devastator or Tonkanator, it's fine, I guess, but I don't know. I don't really care about a Devastator repaint. If I saw a Devastator reissue that was, just like G1 Devastator and it had a reasonable price, I might be willing to pick it up, but over $100 for a Devastator repaint, no thanks. But yeah, I mean, I'm underwhelmed by these offerings.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that completely forgot that the Street Fighter ones existed.
Yeah. We've been doing this show. That's when you know you've been doing the show too long, is when you forget that you talked about stuff from several years ago.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I got. Dr. Pants, what do you have this week?
I have more Target stuff because this is Buzzworthy Bumblebee, which we know is, of course, Target's own branded stuff. And this is the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Legacy Creatures Collide pack. And we have images of this. This is going to come with Autobot Goldbug, Ransack, Skywasp, and Predacon Scorponok. Autobot Goldbug is going to be a repaint with a new head of the Walmart exclusive Volkswagen Bumblebee. Ransack is going to be, we've already talked about this before in a previous episode, but Ransack is a repaint remold of Legacy Kickback, Skywasp being a repaint of Kingdom Waspinator, and Predacon Scorponok is a toy-colored version of the Kingdom Scorponok. And of course, Skywasp, if you didn't figure it out, it's going to be painted like Skywarp, but it's a wasp. So, there you go. But this is going to be 4 deluxe figures in here, and it looks pretty cool. Honestly, looking at this, I love the Goldbug. That VW Bumblebee figure was really, really cool. I love to see Goldbug because it's all gold. From what I've read, this is not going to be gold plastic that's going to be any problem, though. So it should be okay, but he's got the cool Goldbug blue head. Ransack, like I said, we've looked at before. I really want more of the deluxe Insecticons. We have not seen many of them in years. I think the only one we've seen in any recent history is Chop Shop in Combiner Wars, maybe?
Thrilling 30, he was wasn't he a partner of Megatron, or like a little Megatron Legends?
Well, there was that one, but he was a straight up Legends repaint of Shrapnel/Scrapnel in Combiner Wars.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, but he was a partner figure for the Megatron, I believe, too. Skywasp looks really cool. I kind of like the Waspinator in those colors. And like I said, Predacon Scorponok is just Scorponok in the toy colors. So he's black with kind of the metallic-y lavendery claws and the red legs and everything. It looks really cool. I don't want all the figures. I only want, really 2 of them. I really want Ransack, and I kind of want Skywasp. So it sucks that I'd have to buy all 4 figures. But, another Target exclusive. They did these before. They were really cool. So, Charles, you want a 4-pack of figures like this? 4-pack of repaints?
Nah.
No?
Actually, so I kind of only want Goldbug. So maybe we can go in and get the 4-pack. You take the Ransack and Skywasp. I'll take the Goldbug, and then I guess we'll sell the Scorponok. Or you can keep the Scorponok if you want.
We'll see. Maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of just want the Goldbug. Goldbug has a special place in my heart from the old Marvel Comics back in the day when he and Blaster were teamed up for a few issues. That's my nostalgia for Goldbug. I never was able to get the Walmart Netflix Bumblebee, so I don't have that mold. And the Goldbug, seeing them side by side, the Goldbug I think actually looks better than the Walmart Bumblebee. So yeah, I mean that's the only one I would be willing to pick up, but I am not willing to buy this whole set just for the Goldbug.
Well, then I will keep my eyes open, and I'll let you know if I track one down.
All right.
Well, Jeremy, do you just want a Predacon Scorponok? Or do you want?
I think I would also want just the Goldbug. I don't know. Actually, I think the Goldbug and the Ransack both look really good. They're my favorites out of them. But I think the paint jobs on all of these are really good. So I only have the Bumblebee mold out of all of these, so they would mostly all be new. The Goldbug head looks fantastic, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to pay for a 4-pack right now. But I think they do look really good.
All right, cool. Well, then Darryl, you also just want a Goldbug, don't you?
Yeah, I do. And simply because I just want to pair them up with the blaster I have. So that's the only reason. These 4-packs are ridiculous. I can see that, there's one figure, maybe two, that a lot of people might be after. But if you're going to do that, break them up into 2-packs then, put Goldbug with the Scorponok and put the what's the other one here? Put the Ransack with the Sky Wasp, right? Like, bust them into the 4-packs are huge. They're massive. Yeah. They cost a fortune, right? Yeah. And it's mainline figures. It's too expensive. These things will sit around for a while. It's, they'll be on the shelves and they'll just kind of sit there because they're so freaking expensive. I want the Goldbug, and I'm not buying this thing for one damn figure, right? And everyone is going to want the Goldbug. It's stupid.
Apparently, except me.
Yeah.
I personally don't care. I got to give them credit on this one, though, because the last 4-pack they did was one new character. It was Fangry, and then it was 3 just straight-up repaints of characters who already were out. Because it was another Bumblebee, another Optimus Primal, and another Black Arachnia. They didn't even make them new characters. At least this one has, 2 different named characters that could go in a G1 collection. But, I mean, I agree with you. This is kind of ridiculous, because there are going to be people out there who want the Goldbug, people who want the Ransack. Is Skywasp from anything, or is that just them being like, ha ha ha, we're clever? I don't think Skywasp was ever a character in anything. So...
I'm not drawing a blank on Skywasp. I mean,
if Charles doesn't know, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh, well, wait, hold
up.
No. I typed it into the TF wiki, and
oh no,
Skywasp is a cruel, petty Predacon air warrior who takes delight in playing cruel pranks on Maximals using his teleportation powers. So
it's a Skywarp Wasp.
Yeah, pretty much.
What they really need to do is a Thrustinator. If they did that, they would sell out so quick.
Right. They could have done that, and then... honestly, they could have thrown in any other 4th character. I honestly don't know why we're doing another Scorponok. There's already 3 Scorponok figures on shelves right now. You got the Kingdom one, you've got the Legacy Sandstorm one, and then you've got the reissue of the original one, which is better than this anyway. And there's tons of them around. I don't know, but...
Well, Skywasp was from the Collectors Club.
Okay.
From 2015, and so I guess it was a exclusive at BotCon 2015. I think maybe
again, if they're doing Collectors Club exclusives, Thrustinator.
Yeah, it should have been Thrustinator. I'm with Jeremy on this one. I would have much rather the Thrustinator than just a straight up Skywasp.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, if I get this pack, I would keep Ransack and Skywasp because I think Skywasp looks cool. I like that color scheme. But, well, I'm going to keep my eye open, and one of you lucky gentlemen is going to end up with a Goldbug, I think. I don't know who's going to get it, but...
Whoever's got a blaster to pair him with, that's who you do it.
I have a blaster.
I mean, I also have a blaster, but I'm not. I don't need to pair them. But
whoever is not a doctor, that's how you do it.
Well, Jeremy's not a doctor, right?
No, I only have a master's degree.
I think it's going to have to be pistols at dawn. We'll figure it out. But well, that's all I got. So Charles, finish it up.
All right. This is a real quick one. I just wanted to mention this because friend of the show and listener, he's on Twitter, Generator G1, Generator_G1 on Twitter. He's one of our listeners who lives in the Philippines, so he sometimes gets access to new toys before anyone else. And in particular, he got access to this toy before it was even announced anywhere. And it's showing up in a couple other places too, but I wanted to highlight Generator G1. He showed off his Minerva, which is a repaint or remold of the Elita 1, the new Elita 1 mold that was already shown off. So I think there was a lot of speculation already that this Elita 1 mold was going to be remolded as Minerva, and now we have evidence that it in fact is, and we actually see the figure in the plastic, not in the flesh, but in the plastic. And yeah, thanks to Generator G1 for showing off his figure and letting us all see it. I gotta say, I think it looks better than the Elita 1 figure. At least the color scheme, like the two-tone pink, I didn't really like on Elita 1 in her car mode, and the all-white color scheme for Minerva, I think, looks a little bit better. And it looks like a good figure. This is another figure. I'm still scratching my head, like we mentioned with the Speedia 500 Walmart exclusives. Why was Minerva not included in that Speedia 500 reveal? She is like one of the Wrecker characters in the Wrecker's Tread and Circuits comic, which is all about the Speedia 500. Again, why is the cross promotion not happening here? But I'm happy to see a new Minerva figure being released. It's not a Headmaster, so I guess if you're a fan of the Headmaster Minerva, Headmaster Junior Minerva, it's a little bit disappointing, but I think it's still a good-looking Minerva figure. So, did you guys have, Darryl, did you have any thoughts on this figure?
I agree with you. I think it looks a lot better than the Elita 1 figure. I like the colors. It works out a lot better. I don't think we have a Headmaster here, so it's lost that gimmick. But yeah, it looks really good. I like the light bar instead of the little hat that Elita 1 has. Yeah, it's I think for it being the exact same mold, I think it does a lot of things much better than Elita 1. So yeah, I like it. It might be a pickup for me if I can figure out a way to get one. So yeah, it's very cool. It looks great.
All right, Jeremy, what do you think?
I have to agree. It looks night and day different, even though it's the same mold. The head looks a little odd to me. I don't know what it is, just the proportions. Maybe it's just because Elita 1's head is so big with the way her kind of hat is, but it just seems a little bit not proportional to the rest of her body, but it's a minor thing. I think it looks great. The colors are great. And I have to agree, the light bar looks really good on much better alt mode looking than Elita 1. So yeah, this one might also be a pickup for me.
All right, Dr. Pants, what are your thoughts?
I need this in my hands right now. I love Minerva. I love the design of that figure. I mean, I love the Headmaster Juniors. I'm a real big fan of the Japanese G1 continuity, but I love Minerva's design and the fact that she's a fembot who doesn't look excessively like a fembot like we've been getting. I mean, neither does the Elita 1, but this looks so good. And I love the character. I love the colors. This looks fantastic. And I kept telling myself, if you see the Elita 1, do not pick it up. You're going to get a Minerva. That's the one you want. So, this just, confirms it. Man, oh man, I need this figure right now. Makes me wish I lived in the Philippines. I mean, just for that. No other reason. But,
they do get they seem to get all the Transformers the aisle of the Transformers toy aisle. It seems always very well stocked in the Philippines. So
yeah,
that's a selling point, I guess.
Well, Japan too.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, they're getting it before Japan here.
That doesn't make sense. But
The Philippines are from Hasbro, not Takara.
Oh, there you go. All right.
All right. I did want to. I have another topic. This is all kind of rumors and toy listings. We've got a next big dump of upcoming figures. So no pictures or anything, but we've got a bunch of toy listings that show some exciting things. So I did want to like the first thing. This is a little bit more minor because it looks like it's just like a reissue of the Leader Laser Optimus Prime, a reissue of the Leader Blitzwing for 2023, and then also apparently the Transmetal 2 Dragon Beast Wars Megatron is also going to be a Leader figure for Legacy next year. So look out for that. All the Beast Wars fans, you're continuing to get love in the Legacy line here.
There you go,
but
Darryl.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Say again.
I was just saying, there you go, Darryl. Beast Wars fans.
Number one Beast Wars fan on the podcast. Yeah.
I like it when they think of me like that.
But I did. So that's other than the Transmetal 2 Dragon Megatron, those are just reissuing already released figures. But the other listing had a bunch of figures coming out, and something that I've been banging the drum about for a little while in particular was a Tarn figure. So we had Tarn, leader of the Decepticon Justice Division. He was a very violent, cruel monster villain introduced in the IDW comics. We thought Hasbro would never make a figure of this. Then they put Tarn in the Cyberverse show, the kids show Cyberverse. He was like the villain at the very end of the series, which was a little bit surprising. He was watered down, of course. He was not the super violent sociopath that he was in the comics, but it was still Tarn. And it looks like the road has been clear that Tarn is getting an official figure in the Legacy line. So good job, everyone. We did it. So yeah, we're getting a Voyager Tarn these are apparently all for 2023 for next year. Also getting a Leo Prime, Voyager Leo Prime, which of course would know him better as Leo Convoy. Then we're getting a Leader Prime Skyquake, so that's Skyquake, the character from Transformers Prime. A Leader Armada Megatron, which is interesting. I wonder if that'll be very different from the Armada Megatron they released back in Generations in Thrilling 30. I think it was Thrilling 30. Combiner Wars. A Core Sludge figure, so a little tiny Dinobot apparently. A Deluxe Needle Nose, a Deluxe Hotshot, a Deluxe Junkion 1. So does that mean we're getting a Wreck-Gar mold in Legacy at some point? And since it's deluxe, I guess that's different from the Studio Series 86 Junkion, which we've already seen is coming soon, because that's a Voyager mold. And we're getting a Core Sound Blaster, which is probably just a repaint of the Core Soundwave, and a Core Slug, so another tiny little Dinobot. So 2 tiny little Dinobots. That's interesting. Then we're also, it looks like they're continuing the Velocitron. So, we just talked about the Speedia 500. Now the Velocitron Wave 2 for next year, getting a Shadow Striker, Deluxe Shadow Striker, a Deluxe Crasher, which is the female GoBot who has now, I guess, been canonized as a Transformer as after Hasbro absorbed the GoBots, they've been ported over to Transformers now. So good for her. A Voyager Hot Rod, which if I had to guess would be a slight retooling, repaint of the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. And then a second leader. It's LDR2. I don't know what that what that means, but maybe it's just another leader.
A counterpoint to the Scourge.
Oh,
I'm guessing.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, another collaborative project in 2023. It says Project TG2. Not really sure what that could be. The speculation is that it could be referring to Top Gun 2 and maybe another reissue of the Maverick figure, but we just got that reissue, so I don't know what that could be referring to. But so some exciting stuff here. I'm particularly interested in Tarn. I'm curious what the Leo Prime is going to be. And yeah, I mean, all these figures are interesting. So, Dr. Pants, out of this list, anything that particularly stands out for you or that you're looking forward to?
Leo Prime, that is a must. Tarn, because I want to show these guys love and show them, hey, if you put this kind of stuff out from IDW, I will buy it. A lot of us will buy it, because I know there's a lot of people out there who want it. Needle Nose, when's the last time we got a mainline release of Needle Nose who was easy to get a hold of? That's awesome.
So that cuts out the Titans Return release.
What did that come with? Because that wasn't like was there a Titans Return Needle Nose?
Yes, there was a Titans Return of all the Decepticon Target Masters. Needle Nose.
No. There was Misfire, Slug Slinger, and Trigger Happy.
Oh, not Needle Nose. You're right. I forgot. He's the second year Target Master. He's the double Target Master.
Right, and the only double Target Master we've gotten has been Spinister from the Decepticons.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I'll take Needle Nose. He'll go well with Spinister. I'll probably get the core Sound Blaster because I'm a slut for Soundwave and every repaint. So just give me that. Depending on how Shadow Striker and Crasher turn out, I might pick those up. I hope this Velocitron Voyager Hot Rod is like an IDW version. I would be down for that. Kind of like what they did with the Blur, make it an IDW version. I would love that. But yeah, no, there's a lot of cool stuff here. I hope this is true. I really hope this is true.
Jeremy, what are your thoughts on these potential upcoming figures?
I think they sound great. Leo Prime sounds really cool. We haven't had Leo Convoy, Leo Prime in years. I think it's a good-looking character, so I can't wait to see what they do with it. Tarn, I think everyone is obligated now after all of our, complaining and begging and stuff over the years. I think we're all obligated to buy one. So, hopefully it'll be easy to get. Skyquake looks cool. I want to see how they kind of G1-ified or legacy-fied Skyquake. I mean, like what they did with Bulkhead, but Bulkhead turned out being okay in person. So I'm interested to see it. Armada Megatron is that. I think every time they've done that character, it's been a really good looking figure. I mean, the original, you can't really beat it. It's a fantastic mold. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think out of the rest, I think the tiny Dinobots, we need tiny Dinobots. I'm in for those. And then the Velocitron, I think Crasher it's so cool, probably one of the best looking GoBots in terms of like the black and purple and stuff. I'm happy to see that Crasher has kind of made the transition over. And then Shadow Striker, I think, is a recent new character. Well, I don't know if the name was new, but between what we've gotten in, I think, the Cyberverse and the comics, Shadow Striker's become more popular. And then if the Hot Rod is IDW based, I think that is fantastic, and I would love to get that.
All right, and Darryl, what are your thoughts on these figures?
There's a couple of them in here that I'm pretty interested in. I think it goes without saying that I am with everybody here on Tarn. That's one we never thought we'd ever see. The Crasher one, I'm very interested in seeing what they do with that. If it's just going to be the recent Mirage mold colored differently, then I'm probably going to pass on that. I don't particularly care for that mold. It's no good. Needle Nose, yeah, that looks cool. The Leader Skyquake, I'm interested to see what they do with that as well. It's a really cool figure, but the Prime Skyquake that came out in Prime was a pretty awesome figure. So you got to beat the old one. If you can't beat the old, like the original figure, then you got no business remaking it. Junkion 1, it's a deluxe. and the rest of them are Voyagers. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. The rest are kind of meh. I don't really need a core class of Dinobots. Generally, I'm confused by the fact that they're starting with core class Slug. Generally they're going to start with Grimlock, and they're starting with Slug. So I wonder if it's not, if it's not like a G1 Slug. What if it's something else? But I don't know. It's
Slug and Sludge.
Oh yes, sorry, Sludge is there too. So it's interesting to see that they do have both of those there. I'm wondering if like the movie line Dinobots, did they have a Sludge as well? Because I know there was a Slug in there.
There was a Sludge.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I wonder if they do the movie line figures in core class. I don't know. I'm sure it's G1. It's odd that they're starting with Sludge and Slug, not Grimlock, and because Grimlock's usually the go-to for the first one. So yeah, but it'll be cool. I mean, the core class has been really good, and I have no doubt that these will be good figures too.
All right, well, that's all our toy topics, so we will move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the awesome Transformer stuff we got this week. We do this as a video so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition, but we'll have the audio right here in the show so you can keep listening as we describe everything we got in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
All right, let's talk about the stuff we got this week. I'm going to go first because I don't got a lot of stuff. I just got a comic and the aforementioned Beast Wars number 17. This is the last issue of IDW's Beast Wars comic. Sad face, tears streaming down my face. It was a good run. I really was enjoying this comic. I'm sad to see it wrapped up. And we will talk about this in a little while. First, we got to do 16 first, then we'll get to 17, and we'll give our wrap up of the series. But yeah, this was a good comic. So
I need to ask something. Is that a white Transformers logo on a white background on the comic?
Yes, it is. Yes, you are correct.
Oh, but there is some black around.
Yeah, there's some black there, but
okay, just with the glare, I was just like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
That's less bad, but still.
It's still kind of the Formers is pretty bad. The FOR there is pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's a cool cover though.
Yeah. All right. That cover is by John Yurkaba.
Is that cover A?
This is cover A. Yes. All right. Jeremy, you're up next.
All right. As I mentioned last week, I have been working through the Lego Optimus Prime, and for the most part, the main bot is now finished. I still have 2 bags left, so I assume that's weapons, jetpack, stuff like Matrix. So Matrix is still empty here, so I guess this is Lego Orion packs. But it's really cool. I haven't transformed him yet, but you can see how some of the things come together. It's hard to do backwards, and he just lost something. There we go. Like the front of the no fake chest here, Charles.
Yes.
So he lost part of his. The feet are very cool. I'll put that piece on later. But they have.
No!
That's okay. But the feet, they have little ankle tilts. So it helps with the posing, which this one will wiggle some.
Oh wow!
So he can stand, like, do some poses, and it came with these little rubber pieces that help him stay in place when he's being displayed. So for the most part, I'm pretty happy with them. As you can tell, some pieces don't stick on as good, but he's going to be in display in one mode. But it's been fun to put together. Really ingenious how they do it. I think on the Hasbro stream this week, they mentioned that one of the people at Lego that was working on it is a former Transformers designer.
No, okay.
So that makes really a lot of sense on how this does work like a Transformer should work. but I'm excited to finish them up and figure out how I'm going to display them. I think the shelf behind me with like my train stuff, I think is tall enough to fit this guy. So might do some rearranging. That's what I got this week.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll go over to Dr. Pants.
So sadly, I've only got one thing this week, but it's kind of fun because 2 weeks ago when I was on, I showed off that I had Dark Scream and Stink Bomb from RID 2001. And if anybody knows that show, there are 3 Predacons that go together. I didn't have the third one. Mentioned it, but John 4X Levengood hooked me up with Slapper from RID 2001. So now I got all those crazy little robot goons from the Predacons from RID 2001. Well, I have those 3. I still need to get an original Skybite, but, I'll track one down eventually. But shout out to John 4X Levengood. He traded me for this. So now I have all 3 of those guys. And, they're all fun. They're basically Transmetal 2 figures from Beast Wars, and they're dumb and fun and crazy. So that's all I got.
That John, he's a great guy.
Oh, he's absolutely great. He worked with me on a trade for everything. And
did you trade him another Titan Master for it?
No, I ended up actually trading him my Prime Wheeljack.
Oh.
It's the only Prime figure I had, and he's like, I don't have any Prime figures. I said, here you go.
That's a good figure, too.
Mm-hmm. It
is a good figure. It's really good. It just doesn't have a place in my collection. But it is fun. But, yeah, so he got that, and I got Slapper, and Slapper fits in my collection. Plus, I just like the name. Slapper. But that's all I got then.
All right, and we will finish up with Darryl.
Back in my rightful spot. All right. Well, I'm going to show off the same book that Charles showed off. It is Beast Wars 17, and I got the same cover. So I like this one. It looked the best out of the 3, I think. So look for me to pick this one when we do review on that one. My toys for this week, I got some Action Masters. So this is Action Master Rollout and his little drone dude. They're little G.I. Joes, but Transformer characters. So, yeah, he's complete. And, he's pretty neat. He's just a weird character, I don't know whether it's not going to look any good. But,
I love the colors.
Yeah, it's just an orange bot, right? You don't have a lot of orange bots.
Yeah.
It's not. It's whatever. A week or so ago, I took a picture and put it on Twitter. You know Twitter? Do you know about Twitter?
No. Tell me more.
It was of my Action Master Megatron and its vehicle mode. So I wanted to recreate the box art because it's got Megatron in it. In the back, it's got Soundwave. On the front, it's got Devastator and it's got Croc. All Action Masters, obviously, and they're all riding the tank. But I didn't have a Croc, so I used Action Master Banzaitron in place. Well, I have Croc now. So,
Yay.
So here's Croc with a Croc. So, so he's cool in his Action Mastery, goodness. He got a recent figure as well. So if you're collecting Action Masters in modern form, don't forget about Croc because he's a few years old, but he did get a figure that's kind of crap.
That was the third one I was forgetting about.
Yeah, so there you go. And lastly, I just kind of picked this thing out just because it was sitting here on the desk, and I don't think I've ever showed it out or showed it before. This is something that I have here, and it's probably the most famous of all of them. This is my Battle Beast Pirate Lion.
Awesome.
His rub symbol is gone. It came like that, and I don't have his sword, so I have no interest in kind of finding all that crap. But it's a Battle Beast, and it's Pirate Lion. So yeah, gotta love the Battle Beasts. They are Transformers related.
They were in the Headmasters cartoon, I believe. There's at least one episode with them. So there you go.
There you go. Anyway, Battle Beast. Yeah, that's it. That's what I got this week.
Okay, and that will do it for this week's Trips to the Store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
We're back from our trips to the store, and we will finish up the show with feedback. So we did get an email from friend of the show, Will Griffin. Will, we will get to your email next week. We're running a little long, but thank you for sending it in, and we will answer your question on the next episode. So look forward to that. Sorry for the tease, but we'll get to it. We promise. I did want to mention we got another little bit of feedback. This one was for Darryl's podcast last week on why we collect, and that was with Izzy Franzese. And he got some positive feedback there. So this letter comes from Sean. They say, I absolutely loved this podcast and you're a special guest. This was probably the best podcast I've heard from you guys. And Izzy was such a delight to listen to, as well as Darryl. Please have Izzy back for more amazing content. I feel this was such a successful effort to gain some insight as to why we collect things. Excellent job, Darryl and Izzy.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Really good. I feel as though perhaps it was Izzy that did all the heavy lifting there. That's okay. I'm glad I was along for the ride. But that's entirely the reason why I went and grabbed an expert. So, we can sit here as, just collectors and speculate as to why we do the things we do. But when you really want to get an expert opinion, you bring in an expert.
Yeah, well, it did sound like in the show she did mention that you were setting her up pretty good. All your questions and the things you talked about like led exactly into what you wanted to talk about. So she gave you a little bit of credit too.
Well, I've been thinking about it for a while, so But yeah, no, it was a really fun show, and yeah, I'm up for doing more of this stuff. And Izzy had mentioned that she's willing to come back and do it again and do tackle this more and maybe do a more focused thing on a particular aspect of the collecting. So that would be really cool. So she'd be up for that.
Yeah, and
there's so many different aspects that you could just dig into.
Oh yeah.
And we also gotta get the rest of us on too, so we can gang up on your Beast Wars cartoon hate there. So
now I got back.
We gotta counter that. Yeah. So we still Izzy's great though, despite the Beast Wars cartoon hate. She did a great job, and she's was an awesome guest. So yeah, definitely we'll try to have her back on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. As always, we end the show by giving a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons. So thank you once again to John 4X11 Good and Demon Tech 82. You guys support the podcast at the highest level on Patreon, which we very much appreciate, and that's why we give you a shout out in every episode. So thank you for that. Also, big thanks to Dr. Pants for coming on and helping us out again this week. This seems to be a regular thing for you, Dr. Pants. So we appreciate it, and we're always happy to have you on and hang out with you. So thanks for joining us. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online?
As always, thank you guys for having me. This is starting to feel like a second home for me online. Aside from Nerdstradamus, where you can find me and my nerdy friends doing nerdy stuff. We mostly do video game stuff. We are on nerdstradamus.com is where you can find all our links, but our main outlet is the Nerdstradamus YouTube page, so go and check that out. We're always putting out some kind of video or short, or we stream at least once a week, but so far now we're streaming Wednesday nights and Friday nights. Wednesday is run by our correspondent Punk, and Friday is me and my co-host Lambo playing something. Last week we played the Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge game, so come check it out. Oh my god, it's amazing. We actually just invited everybody who was watching, if they wanted to hop in our game, to hop in. So if you want to play games with us, check out the stream. And sometimes we just allow people to hop in with us. But yeah, that is it.
Nice. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, Go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.